Hello everyone, this is Fede Masagari, and today I'd like to show you my game against Nakamura Hikaru, possibly the best blitz player in the world, and also number 10 in the world. And I have a really horrible score against Hikaru because he was playing against me, I guess to prepare for the death match against Wesley So, and I got pummeled a week before I played this game against him. I guess he gave me another chance, and this time in blitz. And I managed to finally get one in. So let's get to it. I'll go to live, and I started off with e4. Hikaru replied e5. He usually plays King's Indian stuff in bullet, but apparently, I guess in blitz he tried classical openings. But hey, maybe it wasn't a good idea, because at least I knew what I was doing here. So knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. I played the Italian. Hikaru replied bishop c5. I guess he didn't want to go into the fried liver attack or anything, arising after knight f6. Bishop c5 was played, and I played d3. I didn't want to go into anything tactical, just some positional, quiet maneuvering stuff, and just play chess. So he replied knight f6. I played c3. Again, just controlling the center. Possibly my knight's gonna go all the way to g3, and it's kind of like Roy Lopez, but with the bishop on c4, and less options for black, such as the Berlin defense. So black castled, bishop b3, and a6. I think it's a useful waiting move because black might play d5, depending on what white does. Let's say if white plays knight d2 here, taking advantage of the fact that he has a castle. So I don't do that, I castle. And now he plays bishop a7, I think still waiting. But I used the fact that he moved his bishop back away from this diagonal, and I pinned him on g5. I think it's a very useful move here, especially since there's no way for black to break the pin unless he weakens the king side, which is exactly what he did. And I don't see anything else other than doing this way, which he did, to break the pin. I played bishop h4, obviously not taking because that would be a huge mistake. Hikaru followed with d6 actually. I played knight d2. Now this position looks fairly quiet, but there's actually a lot of venom. I think I would have played knight c4 next move, and maybe even knight e3 going to d5, taking advantage of that pinned knight. That was one of my plans, depending, or I can always go into rook e1 and then knight f1, knight g3. That's another simpler plan. I was pretty optimistic about my position at this point until he played this next move, which was kind of confusing. G5. Obviously, I thought about sacrificing a piece, but he's Nakamura, so I didn't want to take any risky. He wouldn't play this move unless he knew that knight g5 was a mistake, or at least I thought. So I played bishop g3, and now he played knight h5. At this point, my heart is racing because I'm like, oh, he's really super aggressive here. But I calmed down, and I realized that, wait a minute, that knight is actually loose. So as we know, loose pieces drop off. So I thought, wait, can I play knight takes e5 here? Because f3 takes back, I can get that knight. So I'll become a pawn up. Then I was like, wait a minute, because he could play knight g3, right? And if I take back, that would be bad for me. Well, wait a minute, I got an intermediate move here, knight takes c6. And then his queen's hit, so he has to take back, and now I emerge a pawn ahead. And that was a center pawn, so I'd be pretty good position. So I decided to bite the bullet and play knight e5. And that was, amazingly, he didn't have anything better to do than knight takes e5. I guess it wasn't his day, so he missed the tactics. And I got the pawn, got the piece back, and now I've my pawn ahead. And unfortunately for me, he can't take my pawn because I also get that important pawn. Actually, I might even insert this check first because this is pinned. And then I'll take the pawn with check, and then I could even mess around a bit again with this if I want to. So He didn't play knight takes d3. He played king g7. So already I'm clearly better here, and I'm really nervous. Black started threatening, or easy threatening this, trapping my queen. So I was almost gonna go back queen e2, but then I realized, wait a minute, I had to play aggressively here because I'm up by so much material and position that I decided bishop g4 was not a threat because, well, I'll explain later. I played d4. Knew that bishop g4 would fail to an intermediate move again. Bishop takes c5 check, and then I would take back the piece. So I wasn't afraid of ghosts. Just calculated, rechecked everything like a million times, even though it's a 3-minute game. And I played d4. He had no choice but to go back to g6, and again I decided to be aggressive, just open up the position. Have two bishops, I got a rook on f1, why not? He takes, bishop takes. Now again, everything is active all of a sudden. This is crushing, right? There's so much pressure that I think black's already losing. I think Nakamura's last chance was to take my bishop, but you know, no one wants to get rid of that knight that's defensive. So, but I am threatening on the pawn on h6. So here he made a blunder. He should have played rook h. Well, he probably thought about playing rook h8, but that's also a mistake because of this clearance sacrifice. Bishop takes h6, and then rook takes, and then rook comes down. Again, that activated rook is very useful. King g8, and now queen takes, rook back, and now there's a million checkmating threats. Discovery double checkmate over there. g7 checkmate, queen g6 checkmate, h7 checkmate, rook g7, and then checkmate probably. This is a billion different checkmates here. So yeah, undefendable. So here he's already in a big, really tough situation. Probably white's winning here, but I guess he thought that I would take with the queen, so he played queen h4. But then wait a minute, that doesn't do anything about the bishop. So I hesitated for a bit because I couldn't believe what I was. You know, it was like I couldn't believe he would make a blunder, so I almost took the queen actually. But then I realized, okay, I gotta calm down here. Couldn't I just take this pawn? Yes. Then he went back here. And again, I'm thinking of most defensive moves like taking the queen and taking the rook. But wait a minute. This bishop is just cutting through, slicing through the position. So I just took the knight. It's a free knight. And then I realized, okay, I'm really good at messing up winning positions. But there's no way I can mess up mate in one. And he resigned. So, yeah, definitely... he told me later he was really tired, and obviously it wasn't his day, and he beat me a bunch of times before during his preparation warming up against Wesley. So I finally managed to win one game, and I'm pretty proud of that. Not, you know, his best game, but I got lucky a little bit, and the tactics worked out for me. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, anything is possible, guys. You know, in chess, if you play good moves, it doesn't matter who you're playing, right? So hope you enjoyed it. Take care.